Alrighty, so we are in Chapter 1, Section 2, called Multiplying a Polynomial by, I believe it's a Monomial, yep. And this is for Integrated Math 2, or IM2. So this is just, again, the front screen that you will see on your homework. Once you click on one of your homework assignments, you will see a due date on here. I don't see that because this is the teacher preview, so it doesn't show me a due date. You have unlimited attempts. So you can come in and take these assignments as many times as you would like. This particular assignment has 5 questions. You get the best grade possible. So whichever attempt has the best grade is the one that you get to receive. And partial credit means if you do 1 of 5 questions, you get credit for that 1 question. Always, once you click the start button here, you want to finish your homework assignment, which quite literally just means we need to click that submit button in the bottom right corner. You're not going to see it on my screen. Again, teacher preview doesn't show me that, but you will see it on your screen. And the reason you want to do that is, number 1, it gives you a grade for it so we can see that you were working on it. And number 2, if you don't click the submit button, it will lock you out of everything. You'll have to come back to this assignment and click that submit button to open up any other part of the grade book or assignments or anything like that. All right, so let's go ahead and click start. So there is always these 3 buttons. There will be sometimes an extra calculator button over here, but we do have explanation. That will explain the exact problem that you're on. So you will lose the attempt. It will give you a red X there, and you'll have to come in on another attempt to try that problem. It is a very cool feature because sometimes you might be stuck on the problem, not necessarily the whole type, but this particular problem, the way it's set up, it just doesn't quite make sense. Well, I can see this problem explained to me, and then I can try another one once I come back in. So it's definitely a very cool option there. Example just gives you a general example of the problem type that you're looking at, so you can look through and see how they solved theirs and go, oh, okay, I understand now how to do this, and you can come and try. If you want another example, you just simply click example again, and it will be a new example. The message center is always open, so make sure you can click on this. It will attach this particular problem to the message, and then you can type a message to your teacher and they know exactly where to come and try to help you. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started on the work here. So for this one, we are, it says solve for y, but really we want to simplify and then solve. So PEMDAS, forgot the M, silly me, PEMDAS. So remember, PEMDAS is for simplification this way. So simplify. Once you simplify, you can still use PEMDAS to solve. So you kind of curve around here and you just go backwards to solve. So it is a little different. You shouldn't really have to go past parentheses or exponents there. That shouldn't happen unless, of course, you have something like x squared in your equation, because you can't simplify that yet. But for right now, that shouldn't happen. So we shouldn't have to go past multiplication division. So let's go ahead and kind of put this in practice, see what I'm talking about. So we have 2y plus 18 equals -4 times y minus 9. And that's the difference of y minus 9, which is why it's in parentheses. All right, so we need to start with our parentheses here. We need to get rid of these. We need to simplify them. So I need to take this 4 that's being multiplied on the outside, and I need to distribute this. 2y plus 18 is actually simplified as far as it can go. There's nothing more I can do on this side. But we'll keep checking just to make sure. So -4 times y is just -4y. -4 times -9. So now we have 2 negatives. That makes a positive. And 4 times 9 is 36. All right, so now we're looking to see, do we have exponents? Nope. So, we can kind of check it off. Multiplication division, we do have multiplication on the left and on the right, but I can't really do anything about it on their particular sides yet, because 2 times y is just 2y. -4 times y is just -4y, until we figure out what that variable needs to be. And then addition or subtraction, again, I do have addition here and here on both sides, but I can't necessarily do anything about it in the simplification step because I can't add that to a variable yet. I need to know what the variable is first. All right, so now we can start on our solve. So we're just going to kind of flip around and start to go backwards. So the first thing I come to now is addition or subtraction. And what I want to do is look at what's being added or subtracted to the variable. Well, in this case, I have 18 added to the variable on this side and 36 added to the variable on this side. So I need to just pick one to deal with. It really doesn't matter which one I pick. I'm just going to go ahead and pick the 18, and I'm going to do the opposite. Since it's plus 18, I'm going to subtract 18 from both sides. Okay, so I'm going to put 2y, 18 minus 18 cancels, we have negative 4y, and with this one, negative 36 minus 18, which actually gets me 18 again, right? So that's pretty fun when that happens. Why not? All right, so now I have a variable on both sides. So this one, it doesn't really deal with that too much in the addition and subtraction, but it is the same idea. I have a variable on both sides, so I'm going to have to combine those. So I'm going to take this negative 4y, and I'm going to add to both sides. So I'm not doing my division yet. I'm not doing that step. I'm just taking this whole 4y, and I'm going to move it to the left here. So now I have 6y equals negative 4y plus 4y. One's negative, one's positive, and they are identical, so they do cancel. And negative 18 just drops down here. Now I can move to multiplication or division. So I'm multiplying by 6 with the variable, so I'm going to divide by 6. 6 divided by 6 cancels down to 1. Negative 18 divided by 6 gives me negative 3. So now I know what y equals. Y is negative 3. That's what it has to be in order to make this statement true, because remember, it's telling us it's equal, and in order for these to be equal, y needs to be negative 3. All right, so something went wrong in my calculations. So let's see, 2y minus 18, I want to make sure I didn't write anything down wrong. Negative 4, y minus 9. So I get negative 4y. I get positive 36. Oh, why did I write that down as a plus? See, stuff happens. All right, so I'm going to go in with my pink here. This should have been a minus this whole time. So this should have been a minus. So I actually should have added this 18 to both sides. So I'm just going through and troubleshooting. What did I do wrong here? So these still cancel out because I'm still doing the opposite now. But instead of 18, I'm going to end up with positive, let's see, what does that give me? 14, 3, 4, 5, 54 there. I would still do the same step here because that didn't have any mistakes on it. But instead of negative 18, this should have been positive 54. And we're still going to divide by 6 here, but instead of negative 3, I should end up with positive 9. So that's a pretty big difference there. Just an oops, in one negative trickled through the whole problem like that. And then now the difference is from negative 3 to positive 9. So that made a pretty big difference there, making that one little mistake at the beginning. So it's not a bad thing to make a mistake. It's actually, it happens to everybody. Just go back through your problem and see if you can find it. Sometimes it's easier to just kind of move over to another piece of your paper and kind of try to go back through it again. And then it's a little easier to identify once you start getting the different numbers. You go, oh, I was subtracting 18 that last time instead of adding it. I see, I had the wrong sign there. So it happens. Don't worry about it. Just try again. All right, so we're going to do this next one here. 4x plus 3 equals negative 2 x minus 3 plus 8x. Okay, oof, running out of room there a little bit. All right, so we're going to start to simplify first, and I know I erased my PEMDAS there, but that's okay. We're going to simplify first, and then we're going to solve. So first, I'm going to distribute this 4, because this is my parentheses. So 4 times x is 4x. 4 times 3 is 12. Equals, I also have parentheses on this side. So I can do this at the same time, If you want to, simplify one whole side and then deal with the other side, that's also perfectly fine, because sometimes it's just a little too much to try to deal with both. Negative 2 times 9x is going to be negative 18x. Negative 2 times negative 3 gives me a positive 6. And then I have plus 8x on the end. That does not get multiplied by 2. That's outside of the parentheses. So you don't distribute that 2 all the way over there because it's not within the same set. It's not actually being multiplied. Once I've multiplied by the negative 2, I don't need the parentheses anymore either. So now I'm looking for exponents. Nope, no exponents. I'm going to look for multiplication or division. So there is multiplication over here, but not one I can actually deal with, right? And then on this side, there's also multiplication. There's the 18x and the 8x, but I can't really do anything there. Addition or subtraction, there is something I can deal with here because there's like terms. So 4x plus 12 equals negative 8x plus 8. So I'm going to subtract, and the bigger number tells me the sign. So 18 is bigger than 8, and so that means I have more negatives than positives. So it's going to be negative 10x plus 6. All right, so same thing as before. Now I'm as simplified as I can get. I'm going to start going backwards on the PEMDAS. So I'm going to say what's being added or subtracted on the same side as a variable. Well, here's the same issue that I had before. Now I have 12 on this left side and I have 6 on this right side. So I'm just going to pick one to move. I'm just going to go ahead and move the 12. Doesn't necessarily matter if I move the 12 or the 6. I just have to pick one, and I switched my colors. So this was my simplification. Now I'm solving. So now I'm moving things across the equal sign. So that's why I'm just changing colors so that it's a difference in steps there. So 12 minus 12 cancels out. Negative 10x drops down. Positive 6 minus 12 is negative 6. These are opposites. I subtract. 12 is bigger, so my answer is negative. All right, well, now I have a variable on both sides, so we're still kind of dealing with the addition and subtraction. I need to bring this negative 10x, I need to bring it over to the left side here. So my variables are on one side. So 4 plus 10 gives me 14x, and that's going to equal, canceled out, negative 6. Let's see. I want to make sure, because we're going to end up with a decimal here, which actually they are showing me this fraction bar, so they may very well be expecting this to happen. But let me make sure really quick. 4x, 12, and negative 2 and 9 is 18, negative 2 and negative 3 is positive 6, 8x came down, 18 plus 8, yep, negative 10 plus 6, negative 12. All right, I believe everything is good to go. I just wanted to check really quick because I started to notice right away I'm going to end up with a fraction here. But that's okay. Doesn't necessarily mean it's wrong. I just wanted to go back and check really quick. Because sometimes that's kind of an indicator of something went wrong there. So I'm dividing by 14 on both sides so that x equals, and now the only thing I want to do here is reduce it. You don't want to do any rounding unless it tells you to round. So because there's this fraction bar here, I know I'm going to be able to type in a fraction. So we're going to go divided by, let's go 2 and 2. So we're going to end up with negative 3 over 7. And one thing it will give you grief about, if you type it in as negative 3 over 7 like this, it actually would like the negative sign in the front right there instead of with one of the numbers. It's not going to tell you you're wrong, but it would definitely, it's a correct way to write it, I guess, is a better way to say that, to have that negative sign out in front there. All right. So, yep, they just were expecting a fraction on that one. And in item 2, that's kind of more normal. We are probably going to be expecting some more complex answers than just integers here. Okay, so we're going to use the distributive property on this guy. 7b squared. And we also have some power rules happening here. So we're going to distribute this 2b cubed to both pieces in the parentheses. So I'm going to have 2b cubed times 7b squared minus, or I'm going to say plus here, 2b cubed times negative 4. So I'll put that in parentheses just so we know it's negative 4 there, not minus 4. All right, so we're going to go back to our power rules, and this is a little bit of a review of that. So first we have to multiply the coefficients. 2 times 7 is 14. And then I have the same base here, b and b. So I have 3 b's, I have 2 b's. I just combine them, so I have 5 total. Plus, and actually that plus is going to change because it's going to be 2 times negative 4. So I know it's going to change to a negative 8 there. So it's not necessarily wrong to say plus and then have the negative in parentheses, but we can simplify that by just saying minus. And then I don't have anything else to combine that b cubed with, so it's just going to be b cubed. Alrighty, so we get to type this guy in. That is it. We have simplified this problem. Minus 8b cubed. So make sure, and I did this with my keypad so you didn't necessarily notice, if I keep typing here, it's going to keep typing up top in the parentheses. So if I had more to type, you want to make sure you hit the over arrow so that it drops down to the next section, or you could use your mouse and actually click, and it'll also drop down. So just be careful about where you're typing there. Alrighty, a couple more of these, then we'll be all done. Okay, so we're distributing again. So negative 3w squared minus 2w plus 9. Okay, so we're going to just go through and we're going to start distributing. So we have negative 6 times negative 3. Remember, deal with coefficients first. So negative times a negative is a positive. 6 times 3 is 18. Now deal with the variables here. So w and w, those match, meaning they're the same base. So it's 4 plus 2. I have 4 w's here and I have 2 w's there. So total I have 6 w's. Now we're going to do the next one. Remember, coefficients first. Negative 6 times negative 2. 2 negatives make a positive. 6 times 2 is 12. All right, so now we're going to do the variables here. W and W, those match. Remember, there's a 1 here, so don't forget to combine that. We have 4 here and 1 here, so it's going to be W to the 5th power. And now we're going to do this last guy here. So we have negative 6 times 9, so it's negative 54. And then there is nothing to combine the W with, so it's just W to the 4th power there. Alrighty. So we have distributed as much as we can. We have simplified as far as we can go. So we just get to type this all in. Plus 12 W to the 5th power. Oops, not plus, minus W to the 4th power. All right. One more. Okay. So this is a very, very similar idea to what we were just doing. They're just putting it on the other side here. So I'm going to go ahead and write this out. And I tend to cross my z's like this because otherwise they look like 2's apparently. Or at least that's what I'm told by students. They don't like my z's. All right, so I'll go ahead and distribute this in red. So even though it's on the right side instead of the left side, we still do the same thing. I'm going to take this one thing that's being multiplied and I'm going to distribute it. So we're going to distribute it just like we would on the other one. So I'm going to go ahead and go to the first one here. Why not? So negative 9 times 4, that's negative 36. And then we have y squared and y to the 6th. So as long as they're the same base, I'm matching the bases up. So 6 plus 2 is 8. And then I have z's. So z to the 4th, z to the 1st power. That's 4 plus 1. It's going to be z to the 5th power. All right, and we're going to do this next one. I'll do it in pink here, so it's very colorful. So we're going to do this one now in pink. So negative 9 times negative 7, that's going to be a positive. And in this case, let's see, that would be 63, I believe, right? Yeah, 63. Took me a second there. 63. And we don't have any y's to combine. So the y just stays y squared. But z's, I do have some to combine. I have 5 here and I have 1 here. So that's going to be to the 6th power. So just make sure, first multiply the coefficients, then match up the bases for the exponents there so that you can combine them correctly. Negative 36, y, 8, z, 5, plus 63, y squared, and z to the 6th power. All right, let's go ahead and check that guy. We are good to go. So that was section 2. I will see you in section 3.